I think the most important thing is changing your mind, like getting your mind thinking of something else. Because when we go, and if we are self-employed, even myself right now, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on my plate. Like I'm thinking, okay, what do I got to post? And what do I got to do here? And what do I got to do there? Is going on in my mind. So when you actually take your mind and give it that rest, and it can be as simple as doing a breathing technique where you're counting. So you're focusing on 1, 2, 3. You're not thinking posts and 1 and posts and 2 and, whatever, reels 4 and YouTube videos 5, right? You're actually just counting. And it's something so simple.
Welcome back to the Hot Mess to Awesomeness podcast, a show all about inspiring smart, busy women to put their happiness at the top of their to-do list. Join your host and life coach, Dion Thompson, as she chats with amazing women who have figured out how to make their happiness a priority, and more importantly, what it's really like to go from hot mess to awesomeness. And now, on with the show. Welcome, everyone, to the Hot Mess to Awesomeness podcast. I'm your host and life coach, Dion Thompson. I am here with Denise Eckert. We just had, I probably should have hit record for that conversation about songs and lyrics and the power of certain music. And of course, before every episode of the podcast, my guest and I have a 15-minute dance party inspired by them and their 3 songs that they want to dance to. And we were commenting on the last song. So Denise, it was called Women of the World, but who was it by again? Because I'm not looking at my music screen.
It's Amy McDonald.
Amy McDonald. And it was easy. It kind of got me in the feels. And I don't know if it was because it was in combination with Madonna and the Rolling Stones, which was also part of our dance party. I don't know if that's the magic sauce, but it really reminded me that, music is so powerful, and it sort of embeds itself into us. And, I was joking that, you can remember a song from when you were like 7 years old and just bang out the lyrics, no problem. Or maybe 15 is probably more to the point, and not think twice about it, because music goes right in, right? Like it drops into your unconscious. It gets laid there into your long-term memory. And so when we think about it that way, what is it that we're putting in? What is it that we're ingesting and are willing to take in without filtering it and just whoop? So it sounds like that last one that I was like, I'll take that in. Thank you very much. It was lovely. So thank you.
I love her. Yeah.
So Denise, I'm very excited to have you as a guest today. I had the privilege of being a guest on your podcast. Oh my goodness, it feels like a lifetime ago, but I know it wasn't too long ago. And so your podcast is focused around supporting women who are going through burnout, which of course speaks right to my soul as someone who's gone through burnout 4 times. And I got to share that story with you on your podcast. And so we've chatted quite a bit, and I'm very excited to have you here today to share your journey to go from hot mess to awesomeness, because of course now you have built a beautiful community, the Relaxation Lounge, which we'll tap into a little bit later on in the episode. But let me introduce you officially to I'll say the world, because my assumption, and I'm putting it out there, that the world is listening to this podcast right now. So Denise loves helping women reduce the stress in their lives. She's a certified coach, hypnotherapist, and EFT practitioner who is now the host of the Relaxation Lounge. She knows the importance of implementing relaxation practices into our lives and has taken this one step further. The Relaxation Lounge is an online portal where busy women like moi can come and enjoy quick, easy, fun relaxation practices to help them reduce their stress in minutes. Yes, please, because it's, the busy folk like myself go, yeah, I should. Oh, I know I'm supposed to. Oh, yeah, I don't have time. And so to know that there's a space where you can go and get it quick and easy, and it can bring you back down to where you need to be, I think that's fabulous. So thank you for bringing all that awesomeness to the podcast today. So tell me, Denise, what was it? What was that hot mess moment? I know we're busy women. We go through a lot of hot mess moments, but what was that pivotal moment for you where you knew that you could no longer stay stuck in that burnout cycle, and you needed to make a change? Because of course that change has now precipitated into changing the lives of other people, which I, a huge fan of. So tell me more about what happened for you and your hot mess moment.
Well, as you said, we go through a few of them. And thank you so much for having me on your show. I think the work you're doing is amazing and it's such a great podcast. I love listening to it. Now, my first hot mess where I started with this journey was I used to live in burnout. So I'd be burnout, I would get sick, I would recover, I'd jump right back on that wagon. I didn't even know anything about self-care, the different practices. I knew about meditation and I thought it was weird because I couldn't sit in silence because my head would just go and go and go. And I wasn't aware of all the other practices that were available. And then I got into coaching and I thought I was going to help people that way. But I didn't resonate with it. So I actually trudged along. And I was getting really depressed and really upset and financially, not good at all either. So there was more stress on me. And I don't know what happened. One day I was watching a video and it was because I used to do conference organization and event planning and collaborating with different people and I've had directories. I've done all sorts of things along that road. And I'm like, why can't I put all the practices together and give them people access to them? And boom, so I go from the burnout to, I got to do something about burnout to coaching to sitting there for about a year because they did not resonate with me. So then I learned a lot about the practices. And then I'm like, well, I'd like to make practices available to women and different practices, not just one, because I know for myself, I'd get bored. I wouldn't want to do the same meditation every day. I like doing different things to keep my mind active. So that's how from mess to awesomeness finally.
I that really resonates with me, going from mess, different mess, more colorful mess. Yeah. What I think is fascinating, and I feel like for a lot of people, they don't acknowledge this, but we, as busy women, there's a lot that we're doing that is great. And yet, the way that we're doing it, not so much. So we're going and we're achieving, yay, ticking boxes. Some of them are our boxes. Some of them are the external world's expectation of us. Okay, fine. But there's a lot of things that we gravitate to that really fascinate us, that interest us. We build skills in those areas, like you said. So as far as events and conventions and pulling people together and building community, and the how we do it really can get in the way of whether or not we are successful with that. And so, for those of us who are on that burnout cycle, who are like, go, 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 fall down, collapse, get up and do it all over again. And thinking that, a lot of people, by the way, call that collapse vacation, where they're like, no, I'm going to be fine. I just like lie here for a while and then I can get up and do it all again. And then like you, I went on a very deep healing journey and explored a lot of modalities and things that I could do. I was learning new things and I wanted to share those new things with the world, jumped into coaching. Yep. And like you, I was like, I don't, is this meant for me? I don't know, but it worked so magically for me. I would love to share this and move this forward. And yet what I think is great is that what really feels right for you are those things that you're bringing back from the past. So it's not the how, you're not bringing back burnout, you're not bringing back those cycles, but you're bringing back those skills and those things that light you up and the things that make you, right? The things that you were drawn to in the first place that just kind of got clouded by the busyness of it all. And so I love that you are using those pieces of yourself, those skills that you have acquired over, I'm sure, many years, and are now applying them in this beautiful way that is way more aligned with how you want to show up in the world. I just think that's brilliant. And for myself, that's something I'm like really working towards what skills do I want to bring forward? But I want to make sure I do it in a way that's really honoring of my no burnout allowed policy. So maybe you could tell me how you are doing that. How are you bringing past skills and things that are part of you forward and ensuring that you stay out of burnout land? So is it the practicing of different things? Is it the tools that you provide? Like, how are you using them? How do you stay out of burnout land is really my question.
Well, there's a couple of ways, because a lot of times I'm doing videos, for instance, like I'm doing hypnotherapy in videos and doing EFT in videos. And I mean, for yourself, you do a lot of videos. So if you've got to edit them or redo them. So if you do an EFT video about 3 times, you're like so relaxed, you can barely do the video anymore. and it's wonderful because you're always around it. So, I mean, even if I'm listening to it, but I've gotten into the habit of, my big thing is my morning routine. And because I have access to all these wonderful practices, they are in my day.
Yeah.
And it's just that awareness that we need to create and listen to our minds and bodies. And I mean, in the past, working corporate, I was doing event planning. And if you've ever organized an event or a conference, it's bloody crazy. Like, it's like, the last 2 weeks of the conference, you're not sleeping. And even when you do go to sleep, you're going, oh my God, I forgot to do this, or I forgot to do that. And I used to have a book beside me and I'd write down all the things that I forgot to do, so I wouldn't forget to do them. Like, I remember one conference, in every conference there was a slip up, like nothing major, nothing that I couldn't handle, but there was just so much to do. Like, I had the bus come on the wrong day to pick up my people. It's like, okay, well, that's not too bad, right? But it's just slowing down and recognizing that once you start feeling that, stop, do something else. It doesn't have to be major. Like, even if I'm working on my website, for instance, and I start getting frustrated, get up, take the garbage out, get up, do the dishes, do something else, give yourself that time away, come back to it. Sure. But it's just becoming aware, and doing this work has really made me aware. And I really recognize that in my friends too. Like, it's like, you know what? Take a break. It's so simple, but people don't do it.
No. We're so driven by productivity equals value, right? And the more productive you are, the more valuable you are as a human. Fucking bullshit. Anyway, and even if we're not consciously, like, I know women who are like, no, I know that that's not true. Yet it's so embedded in how they operate at an unconscious level, like it's driving the bus. And they're like, just one more thing. And I'm still working through that myself, those beliefs, and as they continue to pop up in new and exciting and freaking annoying ways. But like, I used to be like, I'll just finish this and then I'll go to the bathroom. Are you kidding me? Let's just, stop bodily functions because I have to finish this.
Yeah.
And you say it out loud and you go, that sounds ridiculous, but it was something that seemed totally okay in my head. And so there are people, brilliant people, who have these like little underlying games they play with themselves because the belief of where your value comes from is quite skewed and quite, it's effed up. Anyway, and I say that because it comes from a place of oppression and smallness and, keeping women teeny tiny. But anyway, I just wanted to comment, I love that you are sharing and teaching and, putting this greatness out into the world because you use it. And I know that seems like, well, of course, Dion, like, I'm putting these great things out. It's because I think they're great, and I think they're great because I use them. Yet there are many people out there who that's not the case, that they know that the thing is great, but they still don't use it themselves. And you can build an entire business on selling products you've never used, as long as you feel like, you have the capacity to sell the product. Some products sell themselves, some services sell themselves, but to know that you are actually daily incorporating these practices into your life, it speaks to the power of them, but it also allows the people who come to you to receive these services to be like, oh, she's with me, not above, right? They're like completely with. And I think that that's a really important piece of what I call the interdependent puzzle. I feel like we've been conditioned for so long to be able to do things on our own that we miss out on opportunities to engage with brilliant women like yourself. So tell me a bit more about your community and how you feel it supports you in your hot mess to awesomeness journey, and what like the relaxation lounge, what's the essence of it? Like, how does it feel for someone who is joining and part of what you've got going on?
Well, it's a community of practices. And what I love about it is everybody's unique. And it's not just me doing all the practices, because I almost went down that road because that's kind of who I am as well. I can do everything. And then I'll take the next course and the next course. It's like, I mean, I did too. I took the EFT and the hypnotherapy, and I'm like, I could have kept going. And I'm like, no, I need to bring other people in who've been studying this for years. And what's nice, it is a community, and then everybody can check out each other's practices. So coming into the membership, there's meditation, but there could be 5 different people providing the meditation, and they're all unique. They're all absolutely different from each other. And there might be some that you resonate with and some that you don't. And that's my goal, is to put you in front of as many different practices so that you do find one that you resonate with, and there's so many practices, like even when the people I've collaborated with sending me their content, I get up and I do the practice just to check it out. While I'm editing, I'm practicing it.
Right.
Because there's some amazing practices out there that we're not even aware of.
Right.
Things like sound therapy, and like there's just so many different things out there that are so unique. And that's what I want to bring to people now. Because I love, in the past, I used to do a lot of work with, bands and stuff like that, and getting out there. And so this gives me that opportunity to bring something to people and to provide that audience. And I love doing that.
Love, 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 love that. And I want to just take a minute for us to just explore the word practice for a second, because those of us in the world, we throw it around, right? Like yoga is a practice, meditation is a practice. And it sometimes the word practice, we forget that it means be a beginner, and it's okay if it's new, and it's okay that you seek out things you've never done before so that you can practice and explore, like, does this sit well with me? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, that's okay. I know for me personally, and so you had alluded to it by like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I can do all the things, I can do that one and that one. I too was like, if I'm going to dive into something, I'm going to go from A to Z. Like, there's no stopping. There's just go get all the pieces and pull everything in, and then get all the pieces of paper to prove to the world that I can do things. Fuck. Anyway, but
and that's where burnout comes in.
100%, right? It's like, no, I can do it. And it's that misguided, we must be independent, we must do all the things just to be seen half as good, and all of that, again, crap. But I love that, again, you're encouraging people to practice. So tell me a little bit about maybe your feeling around this, being a beginner and being willing to try new things.
I love it. I do. And I love the way you've put that, because actually in the membership, what I've done is I've split things up. So just for instance, if someone's I have like a workout office chair stretching practice. So I do have a video explaining the benefits. So if someone has no idea what this is, they can find out what it's all about, and then go on to the practice, which is a separate video. So that if the person comes back, because I know I'm impatient, so if the person comes back, they can just go straight to the session because they know how to do it. Or if they want some more instruction, they can do the instructions again. And so I've split up each modality into 2 different videos where you do get the instructions, the benefits, and the blurb about it, or the blah, 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 I like calling it. And then the actual session, and there's no blah, blah, blah in the session. So it doesn't waste people's time, which is very important, because we're all busy.
Yeah.
I know when I was looking for practices on YouTube, you'd have the commercials and you'd have the introduction, and 20 minutes into the video, has the thing started yet? No, you're still listening to blah, 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 right?
You're watching a video and they need to go through the pieces. I get that. But I love that when you connect with a community, whether it's a membership or, whether it's a group or whatever you want to call it, there's this opportunity to get what you need and then every time you go back, you can dive in exactly where you want to. And I can't stress enough how powerful it can be to be involved in communities or memberships or organizations that allow you to sort of taste test things and see what's right for you. Because when you come off the burnout train, with some really strong beliefs about what you're supposed to do and how shouldy and all of that, like it should get to you to here and you should do it fast, you should do it perfect and all that crap. Sometimes we just don't even have a clue what it is we might actually like. I remember, my early days of like, oh my God, I can't be here anymore. And saying to my husband, I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want. I didn't even know I was allowed to want things. I didn't know I was allowed to like calm down. I didn't know that was the thing. So I can't even tell you which thing I'd like to do because I don't know what that means. And then of course, then you get into overwhelm and anxiety just from that. So to be able to go into a place and go, I'm gonna try that one. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try that one. And of course, for me, and I think we've talked about this, then as you do these things, then reflect, journal, if you will. How was that? Would I do it again? Okay, it was really uncomfortable. Does that mean I should do it again so that I can see if this is the kind of discomfort I need to be sitting with? Like, I just love, love, love that you are building this and that there's an opportunity for the busy folk like myself out there to feel like, okay, it's a safe place. I can go and give this a try. We can go give this a try. So, as far as your contributors, your community of people that you've brought in, is there are they many of the people that are from your podcast, or where do you outsource these brilliant other folk to bring in to your community?
Well, I'm at the point now where I have people approaching me, and
Nice.
which is nice because it's like, hey, I do this neat practice, and I'd like to share it on your platform.
Hmm.
And it's gotten to that point now because I mean, even with my podcast, I'm pretty much booked into the summer.
Hmm.
I'm booking months away from right now, and it's a great place to be because before I was sourcing people out.
Right.
Now I'm just sitting back and I've got emails coming in and
Nice.
people presenting what they have to offer. And I love it because that's perfect because I don't know what's out there. What is
Right.
it? You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know there was a weird sand practice that you can do, whatever. Like, but who knows what's out there for practices to relax,
Hmm.
right?
Brilliant.
Pretty
I love
amazing.
that. I love that it would be a great place to go and have that quick look because of course the internet is a little too big for me sometimes when you're going like, let's Google relaxation practices and then sit for 35 hours to try to read them all. Like it's not helpful. And nobody got time for that. So to be able to go to a space to connect with someone like yourself and be like, okay, so like I want the Coles Notes version. That's dating me. I understand to say Coles Notes version, but whatever. Um, and then give me an idea. Like you said, you sort of here's the little snippet about what it is, how to do it, and what are the gains, and then you can go and do the practice. Freaking love it, love it. Oh my god. So.
Yeah, it took me a lot of mess to get here though.
Of course, right? And for those of us who were, that burnout train cycle, whatever, pick an analogy, but that pattern, it's so like perfectionism, people pleasing is so infused in that particular cycle that often we don't have a clue how important messiness is and how valuable it can be, how brilliant it can be to move through uncertainty, to actually not just embrace it, but like invite it in. And like you said, so you're allowing people with all new different bits of information to come in as opposed to like only these people and this is what I'm looking for and having it curated. Don't get me wrong, curated is great, but it takes a huge mindset shift to go from go, 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 produce, produce, produce. Everything has to be on time, on schedule, or there's something wrong with you, to I'm just going to see who shows up and invite that into the fold and like explore that a little bit more. And I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to, explore that. And having that energy as part of the foundation of what you're doing, I think is palpable, is something that someone will get to participate in, even just in that idea of, wow, that's curious and interesting, and never would have thought that was going to be over here. Love, love, love that. So thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for making an awesome place for us to go and chill the fuck out.
I love it. I just love it. Because I mean, I know when I was going through burnout, I would have loved to have something like that. Because you don't have to think. You just go, as you say, you just go, you pick, you do, and it makes a difference. You know, you don't have to think.
That's awesome. Awesome. So Denise, tell me, what is it? Because of course, relaxing is key. But for those of us like me who have been in that stress response cycle for a really long time and didn't know what relaxing was. So like I said, vacation is actually collapse, and it's, a form of freeze as a stress response. So you're actually having a different stress response to get over your initial stress response. Doesn't work. So relaxing is so crucial. But what would you say to someone who has never, who wants it, but like, again, not just the what they might do, but the concept of relaxing is so foreign to them? What is something that you might share with someone who feels that way, so that they might feel a little bit more comfortable exploring your membership and your community?
I think the most important thing is changing your mind, like getting your mind thinking of something else. Because when we go, and if we are self-employed, even myself right now, I've got a whole bunch of stuff on my plate. Like I'm thinking, okay, what do I got to post? And what do I got to do here? And what do I got to do there? Is going on in my mind. So when you actually take your mind and give it that rest, and it can be as simple as doing a breathing technique where you're counting. So you're focusing on 1, 2, 3. You're not thinking posts and 1 and posts and 2 and, whatever, reels 4 and YouTube videos 5, right? You're actually just counting. And it's something so simple, right? It's just giving your mind that rest, switching your mind over to something else for a little bit and clearing it. Like, it's just really simple. Like it's not hard to do, really.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. So I will absolutely have the links to your community. If you're interested in checking out the Relaxation Lounge, do it. Even just to like dip a toe, right? Like if relaxing has been on your to-do list for a really long time, yet you haven't found the way to do it, there will be an opportunity to access that, and to check out all the Denise's podcast. And so thank you, my friend, for being here and for sharing what this, I want to say avenue, but this community of resources, this space for busy women to be able to show up and start to break that burnout cycle and start to very bite-sized, very, quick, very easy ways to start breaking those patterns. Because it doesn't happen in a day, right? You need to decide, yes, but it doesn't happen just like that, of reimagining and rewriting and sort of changing yourself at a cellular level. It does take practice. So I love that you have that platform full of practices that people can tap into. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this interview.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. Join Dion again next week to learn more about what you can do to go from hot mess to awesomeness.